What is up, everyone? Back at it again with another Pokemon. This time we're talking about everyone's favorite octopus Pokemon that isn't auxiliary. Don't worry, we'll get to you soon. Don't you worry, buddy. It is Grapploct. Bulbapedia and Grapploct were introduced in the latest generation, Generation 8, and I feel like these Pokemon have a lot of fans. They're really cool-looking Pokemon. Well, Bulbapedia is more cute than cool, but you get what I mean. But unfortunately, it's not that very popular, and I could see why. Even though it's a cool Pokemon, its toolbox isn't the best. However, there is one tool that Game Freak gave it that Radical Red just takes full advantage of. And that is the ability Technician. Grapploct's ability Technician. Basically, if you have a move with 60 or less base power, that power is increased by 1.5. So for example, if you had a 60 base power move, with that increase it becomes 90. And if you get the stab bonus on top of it, it becomes 135. That is over double its original base power. Now that you have the download on Technician, let's jump into the buffs that Radical Red gives it. And we actually have to jump pretty far down the line. Grapploct didn't get any buffs until version 2.0, but this is a pretty important buff. It got a type change from fighting to fighting water. This change feels more like common sense because, it's a freaking octopus. Of course it would be a water type. No one gets why Game Freak just gave it the fighting type. But Radical Red makes it right by giving it fighting water. There's a lot of weaknesses and resistances that comes with this new typing. So we're just gonna ignore that. Just know that it has a lot more weaknesses and resistances, and know that now it has a lot more stab options, which is the most important part. Starting off with its first move change, we see that instead of learning Brick Break at level 20, it learns the move Low Sweep, which was a considerable buff since Brick Break had 75 base power, which would turn to 112.5 base power. Low Sweep after Stab and the Technician boost becomes 135, so more power. However, it was bugged and you actually couldn't learn it at level 20. At level 55, it now learns the move Brutal Swing, which is a dark type move that hits everything around it. So if you're in a double battle, everything would be hit, including your own teammate. This one has a base power 60, which means it gets the Technician boost, turning it to 90. Moving on to the egg moves, we see that now Bulbapedia can now learn Aqua Jet and Mach Punch, which, if you know anything about Pokemon, it's basically the same move, just different typings. Both have 40 base power, 100% accuracy, and they're priority moves, so they always hit first, unless preceded by a faster move. And because Technician and Stab bonus, it goes from 40 to 60 to 90, which gives it more power than Extreme Speed, and there's a chance for it to hit something super effective. So yeah, these moves are pretty good. Moving on to version 2.0D, we see that now Grapploct can learn the TM Flip Turn. Flip Turn is just like U-turn or Volt Switch. You hit the opponent and then you switch back to be replaced with another team member. It's a little bit weaker than the other two, being only at 60 base power, but as we know in the eyes of Technician, it just means a power buff, so it hits for 135. And now we're in the end game, literally. This move is learned at level 75, and that is Arm Thrust. And I know, Arm Thrust isn't that impressive, only 15 base power. Actually, in Radical Red, it's boosted up to 25 base power. And there's a chance for it to hit multiple times. And as you know, 25 base power means boosted by Technician. So let's calculate the stats. If you hit one time, which you never will do, you get from 25 to 56.25 base power, which is sneezable. If you hit two times, which is the least amount, you goes up to 112.5 base power. Hitting three times, which is the most common, you get 168.75 base power, over 150. At four times, it's 225. And at 5 times the max, it is 281.25 base power. That is nearly 300 base power if you get all 5 hits in. That is some insane power. And now we're going to some hilarious fix to Grapploct and Globopus in version 2.2 is now fishable at Seafoam Islands. Apparently it had another bug in which you couldn't actually find it in Seafoam Islands. And that is actually the only place you can find Grapploct. The only other place is in the Fighting Dojo. So if you didn't pick it up then you were tough out of luck because you couldn't get it anywhere else in this game. And that is pretty hilarious. Thankfully they fixed it with this version. In a version 2.3, now you can learn low sweep when you get to level 20. A little late, but hey, better late than never. So now, what is the rating I give to this grappling octopus? It is a 3 out of 5. I have to applaud the creators. They really turned this Pokemon to what it should have been, I felt. They had all the tools, technician, the fact that it was an aquatic octopus thing, giving it the water typing. They turned it into the Pokemon it was always meant to be. There was no change in stats or anything. They just gave it a couple of new moves, a new typing, and it was off to the races. And even though its stats is pretty good all the way around except for that pretty abysmal speed, don't worry, put that in the trick room and you got a sweeper right there. It's a really useful Pokemon in the end game. Powerful with a lot of utility moves, priority, multi-hitting moves to break through sash and sturdy, and just all around a lot of great damage. So yeah, that's the rating that Grapploct gets. What do you guys think? Do you think I put him too high, too low? Put it down in the comments below, and let me know what Pokemon you want to see next. Until next time, I will catch you guys later.